Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
I'm calling to order our regular 6 o'clock meeting for Tuesday, October 23rd, 2012. We will open with invocation given by Commissioner Baya, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Flowers.
May we all take a position of prayer, please. Father, we are here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solution fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please raise the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Chair, before we go further, may I move to amend the agenda?
Yes.
I move that we add item number 15, quote, consider approval for Commissioner Joanne Todd to attend the 2012 MEAG Mayor Summit on November 9 through 11, 2012 at the Ritz-Carlton Lodge, Reynolds Plantation, unquote.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0.
Yeah, I can vote yes.
Okay.
What he's doing here.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. We nothing on the presentation and delegation, so we'll move right into citizen comments. At this time, the chairperson opened the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item, not listed on the agenda for a public hearing, or to the concerns within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinions. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Is there anyone to my left that would like to come forward and address the board? Please come forward. Give us your name and address for the minutes, please.
Hi, I'm Charlene Gaston. Hi, I'm Charlene Gaston. My address is 817 Booker Street, Griffin, Georgia.
Okay.
I want to address to you all that on October 11th, I called for backup for 911 due to my neighbor. They were making up a lot of noise, and when he got there, I felt like me and my daughter were mistreated because a fight broke out with the neighbor. But we called for help, and we got locked up and pepper sprayed, and we was mistreated. And I felt like they didn't go to jail, but we went, on that night.
Okay. Kenny, you want to handle it?
Yes, ma'am. If you want to give them a and if you'd like to file a formal complaint, we'll certainly look into it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, I've been staying there all my life, over 47 years, due to the neighbor that hadn't been there that long.
Okay. Well, he'll take care of it for you. Is there anyone else on my left that would like to come forward and address the board? Okay. Is there anyone on the right that would like to come forward and address the board? Okay. Now we'll move into our public hearing. Receive comments regarding a request to rezone property located at 930 and 940 Harlow Avenue, consisting of 2.8 plus minus and 5.3 plus or minus acres from high-density residential to planned industrial district for economic development opportunities. Taurus Freeman will address.
Madam Chair, member of the board, Taurus Freeman. Staff has requested rezoning these two parcels, which are legal non-conforming lots of record, and we would like to bring those into conformity for future economic development opportunities.
In terms of your history, was there any reason why this was zoned HCR? These have been industrial plants for
I think it was during a citywide rezoning, blanket rezoning of properties. To my knowledge, that was stated in the Planning Commission meeting last week. However, I don't have any record or knowledge of why.
Okay.
I think that was the infamous citywide rezoning that piled up innumerable parcels.
That is correct.
And this is a public hearing. Is there someone from the audience that would like to come forward and address this? Now would be the time to do so.
Is anything going to change with this area, or is it to sell the property, or it's just a rezoning?
Well, both properties are currently occupied. There's no change in the future that I can foresee, but if there is someone wishing to go within those establishments, then the process would be a lot shorter as opposed to going through the rezoning process.
These are adjacent to one of the industrial parks, aren't they? Or in proximity to them?
It's across the street from behind, like by the cemetery.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
From the cemetery to American Mills,
Fashion Street.
Down
Yeah.
the street from Griffin.
company, and there are some future opportunities for that piece of property, so we're trying to
Yeah.
build it up in anticipation of having it.
Is everything on that block
Yeah.
residential?
There's like, no, there's just
I
one
mean,
house.
zone residential, everything down there is still
Yes.
zone residential?
Yes.
Okay.
What about the parcel that's, looking at the card map, looks like 931? That's the, what's that center called? The
GARC.
GARC. What is their zoning?
That flag lot that goes back in there,
Mm-hmm.
is already zoned.
Industrial?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's on PID.
It was rezoned several years ago. I don't know why,
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll move into our consent agenda. Consider approval of the minutes from regular scheduled meeting on October 8th, 2012.
Unless anybody else found the correction, I move that we approve them as presented.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Okay, our regular agenda. Consider approval of to rezone property located at 930 and 940 Harlow Avenue, consisting of 2.8 plus or minus and 5.3 plus and minus from high-density residential to planned industrial district for economic development opportunities.
Chair, I move we approve the request.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0.
Thank you.
Consider task order form in accordance with the Master Services Agreement with Tetra Tech for bathymetric survey for dredging Heads Creek Reservoir in the amount of $5,000.
This is a supplement or something? This is about the third approval we've done.
You have one approval, and this is, we need additional information, up at map fields, because because the grass is starting to die back, and we need to find out what kind of volume we have up there, and they're gonna have to do some soundings,
So this is in addition to the original
Yes,
contract
sir.
with these folks?
That's correct, sir.
I move we approve the request.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, I'm sorry, is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider an agreement with UL and LLC for the lab analysis for EPA program, UCMR3, monitoring in the amount of $21,054.
Easy for you to say.
I know it. Another mandate, huh, from the U.S. government.
I move we approve this agreement.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider the purchase of 27 additional SunGuard Public Sector OSSI mobile field reporting software clients for the City of Griffin Police Department in the amount of $50,730.
Chair, I move we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider the purchase of one Ford F-350 4x4 pickup truck with dual rear wheels from Speedway Ford in the amount of $33,296.88, lower than state contract price of $33,220.
$320.
$320. What'd I say? From Allen Vigil Ford, and a flatbed for the chassis from K&K Manufacturing in the amount of $3,086 for use in the Electric Line Construction Division, and declare surplus unit number 742, which will be retired from service and advertised on Gov Deals.
Madam Chair, I move we approve all of those items.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Consider approval to award bid to eFacet Advanced Control System in the amount of $165,100 plus annual maintenance fee of $3,600 and authority for chairperson to execute license and support agreement following city attorney's review for the installation and integration of an outage management system, an interactive voice recording system for the electric department.
Madam Chair, I move we approve, but I have a question.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second.
I didn't write that.
When we had our last little go around with the substation problems, and I was getting calls and I was trying to call the city, is this going to solve the problem where you can't get through, the phones are backed up? Or
I'd be lying to you.
Talked about a voice system and all that. I wasn't quite clear of.
It will not solve it. It will help it. I mean, we'll have an additional, we might have 40 lines, but if you're having 1,000 calls coming in, 40 lines can only answer 40 lines, but it will help dramatically. And when those calls come in, then we can have recordings and give information to individuals, even if we don't answer with a live person.
Well, what sort of got me that time is you get a recording, or I got a recording that says, stand by, you're in line, might talk to somebody real, or what the recording said. But it'd been just easy to have a recording that says we have an outage as a substation and we'll get some information with them.
Would you know that?
Yes, we could put on a different message. We could put on something that we know of the outage in this area, which is our mishap.
But this system is going to help us fix that.
Absolutely.
Obvious.
And the IVR system can also be used in non-outage situations, like if we wanted to get messages out, or we can use that system also in other areas of the department.
Keep in mind, when you have an outage like that, the system's operation room is manned by one person. So not only are they trying to take all these phone calls from everybody whose power is out, but they're also communicating to get the on-call people in to come in and fix them, and trying to basically work the dispatch similar to a 911 center when big things like loose. So I can't get through to them, Bill can't get through to them.
Y'all know immediately, don't you, usually?
As far as when the calls, an outage?
No, when the calls, but when something happens.
Depends on the outage.
Does it?
Like the larger outages that you're talking about, we knew, the number of calls, and then those are also indicated on our SCADA system when something's wrong with the substations. When it's out in the field, that's where this system will really be robust and help us out, because it'll work hand in hand with our AMI meters, and when one of those meters says I'm out of power, it registers on the outage management system, goes on the map immediately, so we'll know that person's out even before they call in.
Right.
But I think Mr. Smith sort of made the point I'm trying to make. Rather than trying to answer those calls and do all this, if you took a minute and recorded something that says we are experiencing a serious outage at the station, load calls very heavy, thank you for your patience or something, but you never have any idea. If I'd heard substation, I'd assumed it was a fairly serious
car hit a telephone pole on College Street.
Well, about the only time we would be able to give a message like that is in these last outages, when we knew we had a breaker open and we could have said, you know, our power's out at the substation. If it's outside the sub, then it's very difficult because we don't know the reason until we investigate it.
So frying squirrels is probably not what you know right off.
So
You're not going to lead me into a squirrel comment tonight.
You're saying that you need one phone call, right? Somebody to call and tell you it's out.
Right now, yes.
You just don't need the other 999.
Well, and this system will work both with the AMI meters and also with the calls coming in. So it will be, this system is, what it can do is just tremendous.
And on this annual maintenance fee, how did you come up with that amount?
That's the fees that's in the contract from the people that we're contracting with. That's just the annual maintenance. As in any contract that we enter with software, you know, you're going to have a
fee.
Yeah, it's a yearly fee, and that's what we're asking. We're asking for approval tonight, and then when we move forward, we'll get the paperwork and have the chairman sign that maintenance agreement.
And you don't think by no chance that it's going to cost the customers, it's going to go up on their bills later on down the road?
No, sir.
You said this communicates with the AMI readers and plots them once there's an outage?
Yes, sir. As soon as that meter has the ability to do a last gaps, it's got a capacitor and it will send out a message, I'm out of power, and that works hand in hand with our outage management system, and it will immediately be posted up on a dynamic board or TV, and it will show each of the customers that are out.
So it's a specific signal to send out once it's out of power, because I know you said with the reading ability of them, you do it at night, you know, one time.
Right, and this is just another capability of the meter. When it goes out, it sends us a message saying, hey, I'm out.
Okay.
And so if you have a fuse that blows and say you have 20 people beyond that fuse, and it shows all them people or all those meters are out of power, we can send the crew directly to that fuse. We don't have to worry about wasting time and patrolling and doing all that extra work that we have to do now. We can send them straight to the problem and get the power on quicker.
What is the update on the smart meters?
We are in our last 1,000 meters. I would say we're probably 500 or 600 meters left to deploy. We're doing a firmware upgrade right now, and as soon as we get that done in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll go into parallel testing.
And in what section is this?
This is that the 1,000 meters are left to do.
Yeah.
Where are those, Kim or Tom?
Are they already in my area?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Oh, good, and I didn't see any difference in my reading. That's really good.
And you got to remember some of the things that you're going through with the AMI. A lot of the meters that come out are anywhere from 2 to 3 to 30% slow.
Any more discussion?
I'm going to vote for this, but that's a mighty low amount for maintenance there.
Yes, sir. You can hold my feet to the fire.
Okay, all right.
All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Consider a one-year lease between the City of Griffin and Joshua Carnes for Suite 520 in One Griffin Center for $3,280 per year.
Absolutely. I move we approve it, take this money.
Second motion.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0. Consider a resolution to adopt the City of Griffin Financial Management Program policy governing the city's investment practices and strategies.
Make a motion to approve the changes that were presented today.
And have you checked them to make sure they're there?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion?
You know, this is one of those cases where I don't think we even knew we had a weakness, and
Right.
this surprised all of us that we didn't have this, didn't think about it. So this is good work, and I like the wording change. So I feel more comfortable now. I knew we had a problem. I didn't know it.
Thank
But
you.
it's been fixed.
There are going to be a few more policies coming through, but they're in development. It takes time to fine-tune these and to get them to a point where it's presentable and it makes sense. because it's difficult to condense a lot of information into a single page or 5 pages where you have a myriad of accounting rules and policies, budget, cash management, et cetera. So look for a few more to be coming your way over the next couple
How
of
is this
next year.
accounted for in the audit?
I'm sorry, say again?
How is this accounted for in the current audit?
The policy?
Yeah, I mean, will the policy, I know it won't be in the current audit, but I mean, will this show up in an audit when they come next year? Because they do audit our bonds and things like that.
Yes.
But you'll see interest income and different things in those.
Will it be in
Right.
each department? Is this what you're?
The actual
telling me?
investment, the interest earned on dividends,
Or whatever, yeah.
Electric has their cash flow with the short term, the utility deposit, and water and wastewater, they have theirs with the capacity recovery fee and the light water sewer emergency fund.
The question was, will it show up on the audit?
The policy or the interest?
Not the policy, the effects of the policy.
Yes, indirectly,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
It does, it directly affects the way we manage the investments and the strategies that we employ for those funds, yes.
Okay.
You know, my question is similar, but what my real sort of interesting thought was, this was really a weakness not having these written policies for the different accounts.
Agreed,
But
yes.
it never showed up in any of the audits since I've been here as a recommendation. I haven't seen it anyway.
And we
You would
wouldn't.
think they would.
It depends on how strict you interpret some of the rules, because we have some very good practices, but they're not in writing.
Yeah, I mean, we've been going by the same rules and policies the whole time, but
Yeah.
haven't been documented.
Yeah.
Formalized. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that we weren't doing it, we just didn't have the documentation approved by the board to say we were.
I understand that, but you almost would have thought an auditor would have said, you need to document, but never mind.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
It's getting too deep.
All in favor, let it be known by a show of hands. 7-0.
Thank you.
Consider a consolidation bulk buy for the purchase of 80 PCs from the Dell, Georgia state contract in the amount of $49,440.
I move, again, I have a question.
Second
I have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Did our local computer guys get a chance to bid on a big bulk like this? I know Dell is a big company, but.
Well, they would buy from Dell as well. So we buy direct.
Oh,
And
okay.
we have government concessions because we're a municipality. And we're able to negotiate a much better, much more favorable rates than we could even with local vendors. But we do, to answer your question, yes, we do put it out there. We do solicit for multiple quotes and multiple bids for local and CDW and others. So we just can't beat their...
As long as they're getting a shot at it.
Yes, sir.
These are mainly desktops, or is this a blended of
Those are mainly desktops, sir.
desktops, and this will be spread throughout all the different departments?
Yes, sir. It's based on life cycle management. So if a machine is over the 5-year mark, they will be the first ones to get replaced.
And what do you do with ones that are you're replacing? You'll sell them?
They'll either be declared surplus or they'll be disposed. But more than likely, they'll be declared surplus, and then the hard drives will need to be removed and destroyed.
So you give them to Phil?
Through e-waste, yes.
All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0.
Thank you.
Appoint one member to the Historic Preservation Commission.
Make a motion to nominate Amanda Slade.
I will second that. I had a conversation with Jim Ogletree, and he had told me that he would like for us to consider Amanda, so I'm pleased to see that we've got that.
I'll move that nominations closed.
Second that motion to close nominations.
All in favor of closing nomination, let show by no hands. None. 7-0.
I just saw a big grin back there.
Okay, consider approval to cancel the regular scheduled meeting of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners on December 25th, 2012.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
I don't know, I want to be here.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by a show of hands.
Well, I tell you, the year's flown by, hasn't it?
Okay, consider Drew, you tell me when to stop, okay? Consider a supplemental bond resolution authorizing the issuance of City of Griffin, Georgia, Combined Public Utility Revenue Refunding Bond, Series 2012, the Series 2012 bond, and
I want you to stop right there.
Okay,
I think
good.
self-explanatory. We have with us tonight Jim Pennell, our bond counsel, who has put together the supplemental resolution. This was just finished within the past hour. That's how close it's taken to get it all in proper form, but also Gordon Morton and Bill Kemp.
I haven't seen
Bill's
these
got
people
some
in a
very
long
good news
time.
for you, I think, tonight. I'm gonna let him tell you about it.
You were in New England when they were here last time.
Thank you.
I guess so, I guess I
A
was,
couple weeks ago.
yeah. Well,
We don't,
I'm glad I'm here now.
we don't want
So I
any good
can
news. It's sort of disturbing the way
reunite
we
with
do
old
business.
friends.
Just good.
We're used to the bad
Just
news.
good news, just good news.
No, we don't know how to handle it.
I don't show up with a bad news.
I like the fact that you sat on the front row.
We've prepared a little executive summary for y'all, very similar information that we distributed back at the end of September when we were here last. If you open the booklet with me on page 1, we priced your bonds today, assuming everything is up to standard and approved by the council. It'll officially be priced today by your motion. We'll close the transaction on November the 7th. And your bonds will have the same payment dates as the 2002 bonds that we are refunding or refinancing. The bond yield, that's the rate that we report to the IRS. That's the average yield on each one of those maturities. The average rate is 3.03%. And these are for bonds that are going to be paid back over a 19-year period of time. Page 2. When last we were here, we looked at a present value to the city of about $6 million. And as you can see, things turned out better.
60 million.
That we were looking at $6 million present value savings. Now we're at $8.2 million present value savings. The system is going to save about $560,000 every year by lowering debt service, taking advantage of current interest rates. As a percentage, when we take that savings and divide it by the principal amount, we're almost at 14%. And we generally tell people to start considering the refunding when you're at 3. So that, just let that sink in. This is a lot better savings than is common. Page 3, a lot of information on this page, but if you look at the column marked yield, and you see that in 2014, the bonds were sold at a yield of 0.55%, and then out to 2032, 3.51%. Everything in between, you see rates go up as we go down the yield curve. Those are the most important numbers on this page, and that's where we get back to that average rate of 303. Page 4. These are the uses of your money. This is very, very similar to what we provided back at the end of September. We've had a few changes. Debt Service Reserve Fund surety policy is less than we had anticipated. Bond insurance, which is we pay a premium to a company to provide additional backing, that cost less than we had anticipated and brought you more value than we had anticipated. So that's an item on the list that we didn't have before. But again, the savings to the system, to the city, to your payers, incorporates all of these costs. So that 14% PV savings is after all the cost of issuance. Page 5, this is just a detail of what we're paying off. The 2002 bonds maturing out to 32, the same. We're not extending your payments at all. Page 6, is just a breakdown of all your debt service. We've gone from 5.11 million of principal and interest payments a year down to about 4.55. So that's a big difference. And page 7, it just shows you looking back over the last year, what have rates been doing? You know that we're in a low rate environment because we're able to refinance, but I want you to see that even looking back over a 1 year period of time, we're near the bottom. Things are erratic, but we're not at the high, we're not at the low, but it's still visually, it proves the point. It's a good time to be pricing. And again, we appreciate the opportunity to work for you, and things turned out better than we had anticipated, and we hope you're comfortable with the savings.
Great job.
Thank you.
I think Morgan Keegan has done us a great job on this, and certainly has delivered what they promised to us, as they always do. And Jim, do you have any comments you want to make on the supplemental resolution?
Jim, this completely takes me off the hook now for signing the 2002 bond.
That's right. You're absolutely free.
I am so glad.
That's right. We're going to give you the debt deed back on your house.
Drew always gave me a hard time.
We have prepared a supplemental resolution, which you have in front of you. It really was warm when I handed it to Kenny, so there wasn't much time to distribute this ahead of time. You adopted a resolution on September 25th. It was a parameters resolution saying that you were going to authorize up to $60 million worth of bonds to be issued, $60,100,000. One of the reasons for adopting that was to go ahead and validate those bonds and the various water supply contracts that you've got with various cities, which was completed in Superior Court last week. We wanted to get through that process before we actually did the marketing. This supplements that resolution, and let me just show you on the first page, there are two things that you're going to do. One is to bring down basically the interest rates. There is the purchase of an insurance policy, bond insurance policy, through Assured Guaranty Municipal Corporation. And there's also a reserve policy, which is to provide money for your debt service reserve fund. You're expected to set aside about 1 year of principal and interest when you market bonds as a reserve. Basically what you do is go out, because it's less expensive than having that money sitting there, and get a debt service reserve surety bond policy to cover that, and that's what the city has done in the past. When the last bonds were issued, the surety bond was issued, to support that, was issued by AMBAC Insurance. When the financial crisis hit, were downgraded severely, and the only real bond insurance company that's out there right now is Assured Guaranty. Assured Guaranty is writing the bond insurance on these bonds, and is also going to replace the surety bond on the debt service reserve for the 2005 bonds and your new bonds. And that gets to a second motion that's in all caps that I'll talk about in just a minute. But to go through this resolution, how you're amending, if you look at page 2, we're redefining some terms that have to do primarily with bond insurance. Paragraph 2 that starts at the bottom sets forth the specific principal amount, the $57,500,000 that you're going to issue. On page 3, section 202 sets forth the interest rates, and again, those are what we call the coupon rates that are shown on the sheets that Bill went through with you. We are amending the bond form to put in the bond insurance language at the bottom of page 3. On page 4, there are a couple of the maturities that are going to be what we call mandatorily redeemed, and that was dropped in this afternoon to do that. The debt service reserve account, one thing we added into this is we felt that it would be good for the city, since we're basically getting rid of all of the old debt except 2005, to clean up some documents, get it where we can separate the debt service reserve into different pots in the future, and that's what we attempted to do at the bottom of or number 5 there on page 4. This resolution approves a bond purchase agreement. If you like the numbers you've seen and so forth, This authorizes the chairperson to sign a bond purchase agreement to sell the bonds to Morgan Keegan. Raymond James Morgan Keegan is the initial purchaser for resale to the ultimate holders. Paragraph 7 authorizes the insurance policy and the reserve policy, and the rest of the resolution are provisions that the insurer wants placed into the bond resolution, which is usual, in order to take on the obligation to insure the bonds. Essentially what happens is the bond insurer steps into the shoes of the bondholder, and they've got the right, if the city defaulted, to enforce all the obligations of the resolution first, as long as they're paying the bondholders. And so that's what these provisions do. The 2005 bonds were privately placed with Bank of America, and those will be the only bonds that will be outstanding after these 2012 bonds are issued. When everybody got in negotiations with the surety bond providers, essentially what Assured Guaranty did is came in and said, look, we will write a surety bond for the whole thing. The surety bond that you've got with AMBAC isn't really very valuable in the market anyway. In fact, a part of their condition for writing it is just to cancel the old surety bond coverage so that you now got Assured Guaranty in that place. We want to be able to substitute that in 2005, and we don't have an amendment ready for the 2005 resolution, which we'll have to get Bank of America to agree to, and that's all going to be fine. But I prepared this afternoon a motion when this issue came up that's in all caps that you were handed, and there's a typo at the bottom. But essentially this motion, which would be considered separately from the supplemental resolution, is to authorize the chairperson or vice chairperson to sign any commitments or contracts that we need to sign with AMBAC so that we get our provisions in our 2012 resolution in line with our 2005 resolution, without y'all having to have a special meeting to do that. So that's the purpose of this second motion, and there's a typo. My handwriting is not so great, and Drew's secretary was doing the best she could. The next to the last line, instead of resume, it should say reserve, and surety should be with an E instead of an I in that motion.
Okay, so I heard two motions. We moved to supplemental resolution and this other one that says motion.
That is correct, yes, sir.
Okay, is that a part of the motion that we're on now, or do we amend the agenda to do this?
Agenda to add the second motion, the one that's in all caps.
Okay, can we do it under this item 14?
We need to go ahead and vote on this one first.
You can do a 14A, 14B.
All right, Madam Chair,
supplemental.
I move that we amend the agenda, call it 14A and 14B. 14A is the 2012 supplemental resolution that's just presented, and 14B is the motion as presented we were just handed.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and second for that.
Amend the agenda.
To return,
To amend the agenda.
Order.
Okay, we're right, we were in the middle of,
do you know how much will we actually,
we were in the middle of the,
AMBAC?
14 already.
14, yeah, we're in 14 already. This just makes two parts to 14.
Since they're
14A,
related, I
14B.
think that's fine.
With AMBAC,
Okay.
there won't be any refund
No.
from AMBAC.
That's what
Yeah, there's no refund from AMBAC, but AMBAC's policy would have gone away in 3 more years anyway. I think the final maturity is and what this does is Assured Guaranty is not taking on any additional risk really, because if you look at the debt service schedule, we wrapped this refunding bond issue around the 05 deal. So the maximum debt service on the 2012 bonds is the maximum debt service. And AMBAC, Assured Guaranty has given us a debt service reserve surety for an amount equal to the maximum debt service. the fact that the AMBAC policy is up front on the 2005 bonds, it doesn't change maximum debt service. So AMBAC is really not signing up for any more risk. They're being very magnanimous in their words. They're basically not signing up for anything, and we really need to get rid of AMBAC because it has no value to the city or to bondholders, and it makes the documents one heck of a lot more complicated when you're trying to deal with two debt service reserve sureties when we can just do it with one, and the cost is incrementally very much worth it.
Okay, Madam Chair, my motion to amend the agenda with two parts to 14. I don't know if there's a second or not, but Joanne second.
Yeah.
Okay, is we having a motion to add 14B
Right.
to the original item. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. But we're amending the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, that's 7-0.
Now, 14A, the 2012 supplemental resolution just presented us. My motion is that we approve the 2012 supplemental resolution as presented.
Okay.
Second. And we'll.
Is that for A or for A and B?
Part A.
Okay.
Part A is to reserve, approve this.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to approve Part A of the supplemental agreement, item 14. All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0.
Okay, and item 14B is to move to approve this motion, and let me read it. To authorize the chairperson or vice chairperson to sign any commitments, contracts, or amendments necessary for the provisions of the Municipal Bond Debt Service Reserve Insurance Commitment from Assured Guaranty Municipal Corporation to extend to that portion of the Debt Service Reserve Fund related to the city's Combined Public Utility Revenue Bond Series 2005 and to cancel and return to AMBAC Assurance the existing debt service reserve surety bond issued in connection with the issuance of the Series 2005 bonds, and only an attorney could have written a sentence that long.
Okay.
That's my motion.
I have a motion. Can I get, and a second.
The motion is those changes reserved.
To add this.
Right.
With the changes.
Yeah, reserve surety bond.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? I think I have a motion and a second.
You did?
Yeah. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 7-0.
And we can give these to the secretary so they're recorded.
Yeah, just one thing too, it should have each received tonight a copy of the official statement, which was approved last week. And for those of you who have not seen these before, this is a securities offering, which is now, it's been posted on the internet. It's the booklet, Joanne, you're looking confused.
I'm not hearing you.
She's my desk right here.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah, it's this booklet, but there's a wealth of information about the city and its financial position in that, and I just want to make sure each of you receive.
Yeah, I still have the one from 2002.
Right.
That's in my.
This is a full update, 2012.
May I ask a quick question on the documents from last meeting compared to this meeting? You've got currently the total interest over the payout will be $25,259,000. That's on page 2 of the new document. Page 2 on the previous document had the interest estimate of $30 million. There's approximately $5 million difference in interest in what you...
That was the first one. The September 25th resolution was a parameters resolution which set maximums or not to exceed amounts.
Correct.
This one sets the actual or exact amounts.
So the difference of the interest from the maximum versus what the actual is about $5 million. But the net result, the net benefit value, the maximum, or the minimum net benefit would have been $6,067,000 compared to what the current net value is going to be $8,237,000. So about a little over $2 million difference. So there's a $2 million difference there versus a $5 million difference. Could you give me where the $3 million? Just because I didn't have time to really look at all this.
Parameters. When we go to the court and ask them to validate this legal undertaking in the bonds, we set numbers that we knew we were going to operate under. By that I mean principal, we got into this in September. We sold the bonds at greater than face value. Principal plus premium gives us proceeds to do the refunding. I took the premium out. We validated an amount of 60.1. We're at 57.5.
Okay,
so that's number one. And then interest rates were a little bit higher than where we.
$3 million.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
In a sense, we would like for you to stay a few minutes tonight.
Don't say an hour. Always a catch. And the, one last quick question.
I'm gonna let Joanne sign half of them.
Our A3 rating as a city, we're stable compared to where we were in 2002. Are
Yes,
we
sir.
below, above? Are we?
Oh, I hope we were good in 2002.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm trying to know where we've gone for 10 years. The direction are we doing?
All of us are on the same page. I question Moody's on this, and we're still an A3 in their opinion, even though our coverage is 4 times. Y'all are making plenty of money, 4 times enough to pay debt service, and their analysis is not, in my opinion, directly about how you operate your system, but more our involvement with MEAG and just the power business in general. The rating agencies just have some issues with that entity. Same issues we ran into in 2002. Even though your coverage is even better, the A3 is still, in their opinion, what we are on our own without bond insurance.
In 2002, did we have to buy insurance to rate ourselves
Yes,
up?
sir.
In 2002, what were we without the rating?
An A3. Again, our underlying rating has remained
consistent for a 10-year period.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think you should be upgraded, but that'll come along soon. I'm hoping.
Hopefully.
Thank you. 30 years.
30 years? No, not that long, Doug.
We need your personal guarantee to upgrade.
Our next item is to go.
Yes, sir. One of the documents we'd love to circulate is a rating report from Moody's. Some of their concerns are factors outside of the city's control. And in fact, we were kind of browbeating the analyst a little bit, trying to get you an upgrade. And she agreed that the things that you as a commission and the staff can control, y'all are knocking out of the park, okay? It's just the grand scheme of things, the economy we're in, demographic details that are not within the city of Griffin's control influences their decision. So I think the way you've stated it, Mr. Holberg, about we've remained stable, that's a very good way to look at it, because we are in the rainy day as far as the economy is concerned. So y'all have weathered this storm and didn't get downgraded. We were just in big hopes that we could be involved with an upgrade.
Yeah,
So.
bump it up, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, next item is to consider approval for Commissioner Joanne Todd to attend the 2012 MEAG Mayor Summit on November 9 through 11, 2012, at the Ritz-Carlton Lodge at Reynolds Plantation.
With great joy, I move we send Joanne out of
I
town.
second it. We're sitting out of town.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion?
Do I have to take Harry?
You gotta take Harry.
Do I have to take him? Can I have a person of choice?
All in favor?
No.
Yeah, please take Drew with you, because he costs us money.
I will take Harry any day.
All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 7-0. Thank you. Mr. Smith, you have anything?
Yes, ma'am. When y'all get through memorizing, please don't throw them away. You want to return them to us, please.
Oh, really?
Use this copy. I mean, you're welcome to keep it, but.
Yeah, it's history.
I was gonna give a copy to my dad, and let me question.
I'll give you mine for tonight, since my name's not on it.
We need to be able to document one of these.
Just for your information, we're going to send you another dozen or how many that you want of the final official statement with all the blanks filled in. So you might want to just let them throw those away, and
Oh, okay.
we'll send you enough of the final, which is what you're going to want to keep, I think, with all the blanks filled in and the stuff. And if you would like extra official statements so they can keep one, and you have a dozen anyway, we'd be glad to do that. But all the blanks in that, those red and the red language on the front cover is going to come off, so you may as well just have the finals.
That's what you're worried about, isn't it?
To hear about the 6th Street Bridge. We were anticipating
Yes.
the end of October.
It's beautiful.
We're waiting on fencing and trusses, and I haven't heard anything yet, so I don't think we'll make the end of October, but hopefully soon, as soon as I...
Will there be a ribbon cutting or any sort of dedication?
Jumping opportunity.
We would like to have an official opening of the bridge. You can jump. They promised to let me know when we do that.
Hey, and you can ride your motorcycle over it to be the first person to go over it.
Paving is ongoing. I think they were on College Street today.
They were.
It's a little inconvenient, but we'll work with it. We also know that there are some areas, traffic in particular, where the paving is up to the curb and in some places over the curbing. And we know once we get a rainy season, we might have to look at those drainage issues and we'll touch those on a case-by-case basis. When it happens and we're trying to communicate with the residents in the area, that we'll try our best to address those issues on a case-by-case basis.
Did you get our person today?
Yes, ma'am. I talked to a couple of people over there this afternoon.
Good. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And while we're talking about waiting, I'm waiting on the tax digest as well. I had a meeting over there yesterday and thought I would have something today, but with the reassessment, they're still running into some glitches. Hope to have a preliminary digest today with an estimate coming from the reassessment team. They still have about 5,000 appeals out. So we're probably going to have to set a millage rate based on an estimated digest. And I'm not sure whether or not we may have to have a call meeting in the next couple of weeks to do that, so we can get some deadlines, because I think there's an extra week between this meeting and the second week of November. But I'll try to keep you updated as I get that information and let you know what time frame we're on and where we're headed. As of right now, I don't have a date.
Oh, that's crazy.
And that's all I have.
Yeah, you have anything, sir?
Just very briefly, I was not kidding when I walked in. I just literally landed in Atlanta at 4:30 this afternoon and left the airport right at 5 o'clock. Cora was right as she was walking in. She said, that's what I call door-to-door service, because I was being dropped off out front.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been at the annual conference for the International Municipal Lawyers Association, which I try to attend each year if possible. And I will give Kenny a further update on what we did. I had to cut it short to come back for the night. I wanted to be here for this meeting this evening. It actually runs through Wednesday of this week. But I attended at least 3, I thought, very interesting half-day sessions. Yesterday morning, we started talking about economic development. And I picked up a few ideas I hope that I can share with Kenny, but it looks like the thrust of the states where the economic development has been most successful, particularly Texas, Florida, and Maryland. The state itself does economic development. They virtually shut down the participation by their local governments, their cities and counties. Mm-hmm. And that's rubbed some people the wrong way, of course, as you can imagine. But it seems to pay bigger dividends, particularly with Texas and Florida, who spend each winter, their economic development folks at the state level spend it, as they put it, in the snow belt, where they're taking companies and they're actually doing in-depth analysis of various Fortune 5 companies and others, that they can show them that they would be more productive in a location where they don't have 25 snow days, say, a year, and use that as the stimulus. But we also talked yesterday about disaster preparedness. We had the city attorney of Galveston, who of course went through the hurricane a few years ago, about wiped out the entire city of Galveston. We had the city attorney of Joplin, Missouri, who in 2011 went through a horrible tornado. And we had the city attorney of Queensland, Australia. Queensland's the state. I've forgotten now the name of the town he represents, but it's the town where they had basically a flood. They call them a monsoon there, but it sat over this particular locale for about 3 days and rained about 20 inches each day. And that was kind of the international, side of talking about disaster preparedness. But I think the most important thing there is the Galveston city attorney talked about what FEMA won't pay for and what you can do to try to better posture yourself if you should have a disaster to get reimbursed by FEMA and things you probably need to do in advance, even though people might not think it's necessary to get that. But I'll follow up with Kenny on that. The session this morning I attended before leaving was on open records, open meetings, and as bad as some of you may feel like the new changes to the Georgia law are, they're worse in some states. We're not in the category yet, some are, where they're literally afraid to ever talk to each other on their governing bodies unless they are in a call meeting. So we'll follow up with that. But the last comment, I received an award yesterday. This is the James H. Epps Award. Jim Epps, I was fortunate to get to know him. He was, for about 40 years, the city attorney of Johnson City, Tennessee. Jim was always in private practice, similar to what I am, and after his death about 10 years ago, Emily set up an award for any member who has been active with the organization through their being the city attorney of a city for 30 years or longer, and received the Epps Award. So I started this in 1982. Was it 30?
So it's 30
was it 42?
years.
So we got
I thought it was 83, but that's fantastic.
It was 1982. So I was very pleased, and I thought I'd bring it and let you see it. Well, very nice. Good job.
Did you tell them about your son-in-law? Drew, did you tell them about your son-in-law being honored by Georgia Trends?
Tim Wessinger, my son-in-law, has been named one of Georgia's top 40 under 40 by Georgia Trend magazine. We're going up tomorrow night. They're having a banquet ceremony. I think Mayor Cassim Reed is going to do the welcoming, and Andy Young's going to be the keynote speaker. So we're looking forward
Very
to it.
good, yeah.
Commissioner Bayer, you got anything?
No, I just want to say we have a wonderful time in Turin last Thursday at the GMA meeting. Very informative and a very nice place. I hate you all.
Service. We hate it too. Forgot. Commissioner Morrow.
I think one of the comments tonight here about our city being stronger than it was 10 years ago financially deserves a little bit of a note, because with cities in California and other places going bankrupt and others having serious financial stress, the fact that we're financially stronger by the actions this board have taken, I think, is noteworthy. So I was glad to hear that, and when an outsider, if you will, says it, somebody from in the profession outside of Griffin thinks we really ought to be upgraded our bond rating because we're doing better. I thought that was good news, and thank you.
We'd like to commend staff. This workshop we had this morning I thought was very productive, and I left here feeling positive in terms of the direction we're going. And if we can get a long-term contract worked out with Spalding County Water Authority this fiscal year or first of next year, I think we can look back at 2012 as being a unbelievably outstanding year that we can all look back, and whether we're still here or not here, future board will look at it and make some great moves. So, good job, guys, and thank you, staff.
Commissioner McEnroe.
I think saving $8.2 million is pretty productive night.
Pretty awesome.
Not too bad, but
Right.
echoing Doug, it was a good morning. There's a lot of good things happening. They're interesting, kind of exciting to see when those projects get completed, how it play out. But good morning, but no, I don't have anything else to say.
Commissioner Flowers?
I just like to say, I lodged 3 constituent complaints this week, and they got resolved very quickly. So I'd just like to thank all those involved, and Brent, who took out the drain and then put the drain right back in the same spot.
But they cleaned your right-of-ways on your street. And your neighbor covered your windows.
But I'm happy. It's back. It's in the same spot, but it's all good. So, but I'm very happy that we got such a quick response. So that's all.
Speaking of drains, City Manager, have you been out to City Park? You and Dr. Keller?
Yes, ma'am.
And?
We're working on it.
Was it stopped up?
We're working on it. Was it stopped up? We're working on it.
I'm not sure that's an answer.
Well, we're so busy addressing Ms. Flowers' complaint.
About the church.
Hey, I'm full precedent this week. It's okay.
Yes, ma'am, I didn't go out there and I didn't go down in the drain to see if it was stopped up, but I'm aware of what you're talking about, we're working on it.
Did you go in the drain?
No. The complaints come to you in the most unsuspecting places. In fact, Mr. Morrow was present when this particular complaint came up, and so therefore it was corroborated. So I just wanted to, when I go back to this person, all I can say is they say they're working on it. So just wanted to jog your memory there.
I don't have anything, but it would really be nice if one of you would stay to witness me sign these.
Are you?
No.
You're wanting.
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, let me know by show of hands.